You're watching and listening to the latest Red and Blue review show. For all your Crystal Palace related chat, please like and subscribe across all the usual social media platforms, especially our YouTube channel. This really helps us out. Now, let's get on with the show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Palace fans across the globe. Welcome to another edition of the Red and Blue Review podcast with me, your host this evening, Ian Noble, sitting in for Nick Philpott, who apparently, he was supposed to be on the panel with us tonight, but apparently he's got tonsillitis. So, Nick, get well soon, mate, and I hope you're watching. Joining me, of course, this evening, we have an illustrious a quartet along with myself. We've got Fergus Tidd all the way from Ireland. Hello, Ferg. How are you, mate?
Hi, Ian. Hi, all. Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah.
Jolly good. Excellent. Recovered after our curry on Thursday night?
Yeah, just about. Looking forward to Thursday very much.
Indeed. This Thursday we'll be in Dublin, of course. And Paul Gear, back at the real panel. How are you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, hello, everyone. Yeah, it's been a long week on the old travels, but it's been well worth it.
Yeah, he's been all over the country supporting the Red and Blue. And I saw you as recently as yesterday, of course, in the ground at Craven Cottage. And joining us, albeit that he's still frozen the screen, Gel Holyoke. Hello, Gel. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a nightmare here. If you can all hear me, good evening all. Evening, you guys as well in the studio.
Absolutely. We're going to try this. It's going to be fun. As we can't really, he's gone now. He's going to be coming in and out all show, I think. So great to see so many people joining us in the chat. It's really good to have you with us. And we'll try and get to your comments and interact with you as we go through the show this evening. Of course, it's been a great week in the life of Crystal Palace Football Club. Since we were last on air, we have played twice away in the Premier League. And of course, we've won twice. 6 points on the road. It doesn't get much better than that. And it's a game of fine margins, and we'll come to the games in a minute or two to talk about them. But there really isn't much in it, is it? A 1-0 and a 2-1, but they're victories nevertheless. So it's massive. We're up to fourth, of course, in the Premier League with a +8 positive goal difference. There it is. Look at that. Is that CFAX, teletext? What do we call that back in the day? But just Arsenal, Man City and Villa above us. And we think sometimes about all those points where we think, oh, we should have won that game. Everton, we should have won that game. Man United, we should have won that game. And yet we could have been even higher. But look, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy with fourth place. And it's a great place to be, given the start we've had. We got the best away record, of course, also in the Premier League. We've played 8 games away. We've won 5, drawn 1. 16 points is a record in the Premier League. And only Arsenal have conceded fewer goals than our 12 so far in the Premier League this season. So it is pretty positive stuff, everybody, and it's a good time to be a Palace fan. Well, it's since we last played football, of course, we've had other things going on in the life of the club, and we have had an FA Cup draw, of course, this evening. Our defence begins of the FA Cup, and we had to wait to the bitter end almost. And there were 6 balls left, I think. And who was in it? Who was left, Paul, in it? There were Man United and Brighton was left, weren't they?
Yeah, Man United, Brighton, obviously Macclesfield and us. I think it's Sheffield United and Mansfield, I think.
And one of the smaller sides, yeah okay.
No one appealing.
And Macclesfield come out, and what do we think then? Do we think, oh, it's going to be somebody else and we're going to get Man United or Brighton? That's what went through your mind, wasn't it, Paul?
Yeah, you see those two there and you just think we're destined to grab them. But no, we didn't get them, which is good. And on the face of it, let's be honest, it's a good tie. It's a new ground for a lot of people. I think I saw online, people were suggesting we've never actually have played Macclesfield competitively. So it could be a first. But yeah, it's a great tie. It's a winnable tie, which is what you always want. The only issue for us guys who go to these games is obviously it's a very expensive month already, January. Another Northwest trip's not great. And I get the feeling this probably will be a TV game. So it might be at some ungodly evening hour as well. So let's wait and see what that comes out with the time.
Yeah, Macclesfield, they currently sit 14th in the National League Division North. That's the 6th tier of English football. We believe they've got a capacity of about 5,500. And the away end holds about 1,900. So, yeah, it'll be very, very popular. There'll be a scramble for tickets, that's for sure, because if we've never played them competitively, then then it's obviously going to be a new ground for most. But in our chat, David Hart, Ferg, thought he'd been there. So, maybe he has.
That's right.
Who knows?
Well,
Party,
he did put during the war, though.
Mate? Is he telling porkies? He's getting
long time ago.
Macclesfield mixed up with somebody else beginning with M, I expect. There we are.
I'm sure
Okay,
Mr. Bristow will be able to tell us if we've played them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've lost Gel, but never mind. We'll press on without him. We've got Lucy in the background producing tonight, by the way. So Lucy, thanks for all you do. So people are commenting on the FA Cup draw there in the chat. And Wayne Rooney's brother is manager. Is that right? Someone just seen that go through? That's an interesting one.
John Rooney.
Didn't know that connection, but there we are. Okay, so look, guys, let's get into talk about the games, because that's what we're about on this show. Fergus, you and I watched the Burnley game together in the pub down in Sussex last week. You're going to cover the Burnley game for us first and foremost. So Jill's back with us, and we can see you, and you're moving around, Jill. So hi, Ferg, you're going to cover the game. So let's crack straight on, shall we? Let's get on to it.
Yeah, we got the team. Yeah, there we go. So Henderson, Munoz, Richards, Lacroix, Gay, Bitchell, Lerma, Walton, Kamada, Pino, Mateta. Obviously, Sarr was injured for this game. So Kamada went out onto the right, and Lerma came into midfield to replace him, where he played against Manchester United the Sunday before. So not too many changes, but probably the only thing that Glasner could do in the absence of Sarr. But still a really strong lineup. Back three with the same. Obviously Henderson in goal. So then we kick off. I mean, I've probably drawn a short straw with this game, because there wasn't too many chances for Palace. I think in total we had 3 shots, although 3 on target, so 100% record. But first half, Kamada, he put the ball through to Mateta. Just on the edge of the box, he put him through, and Mateta, a low, hard shot to the keeper's left near post. It was a really good save. Palmed it away for a corner, but nothing came of it.
Decent effort in the end, wasn't it, Ferg? Decent effort, I thought.
It was. It was a decent effort.
Yeah, we've seen him. We've seen him when he's through on goal many times do a lot worse than that with that effort on goal at Burnley. So I don't think he could have done any more with it, could he? Really? He
hit the target, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Which unfortunately he didn't do so much against the Fulham game. But anyway, we'll come on to that. But and then Burnley had a shot. And the reason I talk about it is because it's another really good save from Henderson. Just to the left side of the box, curling shot, heading towards the top right-hand corner, and Henderson, really strong save, one arm, palmed the ball away. I think that was probably it up until the goal, 44th minute.
It's a save for the camera, wasn't it? Was it a save for the camera?
Yeah, it was a little bit, yeah. I mean...
Yeah. That was right in front of you, Paul. Was it in the away end?
It was, yeah. It was curling towards us. We were just behind that shot, and yeah, he made sure he got it far away. But yeah,
it was a TV save, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But you don't blame goalkeepers for making saves like that. You know, why not? You know, because he's just glad he's got something on it, isn't it, really, and keeping it out. So he made it look spectacular. Probably kind of save you'd expect him to make, but nevertheless, he still had to save it. So we come to the goal, do we, Ferg?
We come to the goal. And this was very reminiscent of...
Oh, hang on, Lucy. Hang on, before you move on, we've got the wrong graphic up there. Let's come back. Let's come back to the Burnley game. We're still in Burnley. There we are. Okay, away you go.
I was going to say, it's very reminiscent of the goal against Dynamo Kiev. I know it was Pino that crossed it. And on this occasion, it was Mark Gay, where he's on the left-hand side and he sort of cuts back. And floats a beautiful right-footed cross, and you've got Munoz coming in at the back post, header down into the bottom left-hand corner of the goal as you're looking at it. Fantastic header. I think the defender helped him in a way because he gave him a little shove So he had a little bit more momentum. But brilliant goal, brilliant cross, assist from Mark Gay as well. And just at the right time, really. I mean, the game was there wasn't much happening. And it's a great time to score a goal, 1 minute before half time.
Yeah, I mean, psychologically, Gel, great time to score, isn't it? Just before half time, don't you think?
It is. And what's frustrating is that everybody, I was watching comments on the internet and other stuff, and everyone was saying, "Oh, what a boring game." But not every single game is Arsenal Man City. Do you know what I mean? Where you've got £1 billion worth of talent on the pitch, and it's we're trying to. Burnley are fighting. I think they're fighting for their lives. Burnley, and we've been in this, like I say, been in the situation of having to fight for every single game. For every single point. So it was never going to be easy going up there. Again, we aren't in the mood at the moment of taking every single chance that comes to us. One day we'll murder someone. We'll murder a decent team, 4, 5, 6. But Mateta's got to have his shooting boots on.
Yeah, and that's the criticism that's been levelled at us more than anything else this season, really. When I might have mentioned this last week, but when I was talking on BBC Radio London the other week, Rob Green took me to task. He said, come on, Crystal Palace, you've missed too many big chances. If you put your big chances away, you'd be absolutely flying. What's the solution? And, I think you just got to keep plugging away and maybe change the personnel if you have an opportunity of doing so, So, and we'll come to the Fulham game, of course, and there was a change of personnel up top for the Fulham game. Gel.
If Mateta takes every chance, if he scores every chance, he'll be gone in January. Someone will give us 80 million for him in January. So
he did his best not to get transferred away from SE25 yesterday. I think that's probably fair enough.
Well,
and it'd be if he took all these big chances, he'd be have as many goals as Holland. No worries at all. But 100%. He hasn't. So let's not dwell too much on that.
That's on his mind. The fact that he's having these contract talks and. Because he just seems a little bit off his game, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, Paul. I mean, yesterday. I know we'll come to yesterday, but you were livid when he missed that chance yesterday, weren't you? You were behind me, and
I wasn't. Yeah, I mean, as we've said, he's got to hit the target. I mean, as I say, it's all very well him prancing about saying I want 160 grand a week, but you're not going to get that if you're not even hitting the target, mate. And as I say, we all love Mateta, and he's scored a fair few goals this season, which shows how many chances he has had, and he is still putting them away. But I never really go with this. Players aren't playing well because they're thinking about contracts and stuff. But once they're over the white line on the pitch, that's the least of their worries, I think. And he's just going for a tough spell. His confidence is down, and he needs a couple of goals. They always say he needs one that bobbles off your backside or whatever, and he might be up and running again. But yeah, it's just not falling for him at the moment. He's probably snatching at chances and things like that. But yeah, I mean, maybe he does need a rest.
And listen, he did score just last weekend before last from the penalty spot against Man United. So he has scored quite recently. Yeah, twice. Yeah. Gel, come in here, then we'll get back to Fergus. Start second half.
I have a question for everyone, sort of separate. We can answer this after the game if you want. But I mean, how many? This is bearing in mind it's us, and he's our striker. How many goals do you expect him to roughly score? What would you, if you turned around and said that Mateta would score 15 goals, 16 goals in a season? Everyone would be going, I'll take that. So if he scores at the end of this season, if he scores 15, 16 goals, then he's had the season, he's had an all right season.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, 15 to 20 goals would be a real success. And let's not forget also that he's played twice for France. He scored twice for France. So,
Yeah, but he's getting better service from them, isn't he? So
is he? Don't know. Paul.
Well, I think in our... I'm sorry, Paul.
Sorry, yeah, no. I think a couple of seasons ago he got 19. I think last year he got 15. So yeah, obviously 15 is a total will be fine, but you got to take a bit of context as well. If you score 15 but miss 25 one-on-ones, and you probably not had the best season.
But that's why he's a £30 million striker, not 80 million quid.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's leave Mateta there. We might come back to him later in the show. Ferg, we go in at Turf Moor at 1-0 at half time.
Yeah. Second half, we have the first chance of the second half, and this again, Munoz down the right hand side doing what he does, electric pace, and then he cuts the ball back, and Mateta fires it straight at the goalkeeper. And the rebound was unfortunate because the way it came out, it just fell in front of Kamada for attacking. Went out to Tyrone Mitchell, so good chance there. And then probably the save of the game for Henderson, Bro Larson. Now they crossed from the far right, and it went over everybody's heads, and Bro Larson was stood at that back post, completely unmarked. Mm-hmm. Good control, and absolutely larrups one straight at the goal. And you think, here we go, it's 1-1. And somehow Henderson got his hand to it, tipped it onto the bar. An absolutely unbelievable save. And he actually said after the game, because I think on the TV they weren't sure whether it was he got his hand to it or not. And the interview afterwards, he said, "I definitely got my hand to it because it still hurts."
Yes.
He watched it, didn't he, on the replay while the game was still going on. Henderson's face was like...
Yeah, I know. He's like that. He's a bit of a showman, you know. He makes a save and he punches the air and, you know, engages with the crowd. But I guess from where you were sitting, Paul, in the away end, you couldn't really tell whether he'd saved it or not.
No, it was the other end. It was just a rocket of a shot that just came back thudding off the bar. So, yeah, we couldn't tell that he'd saved it or not. We were just happy it wasn't in the net.
Yeah, absolutely. And but yeah, his hand was really hurting, so he knew he got something on it. But yeah, absolutely, save of the season. I mean, mind you, he's made some fantastic saves all season, to be fair. Okay, so yeah, and just come back to the Mateta chance, the one that Munoz pulled back. Again, I don't think he could have done much more with that one. You know, we've criticised him a bit on this show already, but you know, again, he hits it at the goalkeeper. Paul, you disagree with me?
No, I think he did his job there. He's hit the target. I think the more disappointing was Kamada's fluffed attempt at the rebound. I mean, it failed to him. He just had to put his foot through it, and he just sort of miskicked it, unfortunately. And as we said before, second goal kills games, and it would have been a perfect time to do that. But yeah, that was, again, it goes down as a bad miss, really.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else of note, Ferg, that we need to mention?
Not for us. I mean, Burnley had a chance near the end, similar cross. Henderson came out to try and punch the ball away, missed it, and it hit the Burnley striker on the back of the head. Start making its way into the goal, and Richards cleared off the line. So, yeah, a good save there by Richards. But no, I mean, taking into account that we've lost the two previous games, we played 3 games in I don't know how many days. You know, 6. We did look tired. 6, we did look tired towards the end. We were missing Star. You know, that's a big miss. It's never easy away at Burnley midweek, cold December evening. And the interview with Mark Gay afterwards, you know, he said team effort. You know, defensively we were amazing. He used that word, bounce back ability.
He did, didn't he?
Bit of blast from the past. Yeah,
I know. Brilliant. I love that.
Ian Dairy days.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, but it was it was a fantastic win. Yeah,
good. Thank you. And Joe, I'll bring Joe in a sec. And there's a picture of the away end. Look at that.
Well, when we scored, it zoomed in on Paul and Grant there. And I think Yaz is just next to Paul. You can't really see it.
And there's one of you, Paul, a punch in the air, looking at the camera, straight down the camera.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, I had a quick glance at the Burnley fans because someone did text and say, "Why are you looking away from where else is looking?" And I was like, "Well, I had a quick glance to see what their reaction was with punch in the air." But as you can see, it was very cold.
Indeed. Jill,
can I just say something about this? You know, a lot of people are making. I'm not going to say they're making a meal of it, but it does seem to be a subject that we are playing. You know, 3 games every 6 days, and we are going to be doing exactly the end until January the 10th or something like that.
Yep.
But what we need to take into account is that we aren't training. We're not having the training. They're not training like they would do because the games are so frequent. I think what they're doing, they're having meetings. They're probably having structured meetings, you know, tactics and stuff, and maybe working, you know, having a jog about, but they certainly aren't training. and I've heard has been referred to, by the manager. He said we don't have enough time to train.
No,
everyone must be tired. He said, well, we don't have enough time to train. We just, sitting down. So a lot of the time, I think that might be why they seem to be able to recover, but why we are at the moment seem to be tactically astute.
Yeah, and as you quite rightly say, this is not going to change anytime soon. All the way through December and January, it's going to be 2 games every week. There's no respite whatsoever, and in fact, it's going to get worse as we get towards Christmas. And we'll come to the future schedule of games later on, of course. Ferg, we win the game 1-0.
Yeah, we made 4 substitutions during the game, which I thought was
and that's good. That's
good.
good.
And I actually thought the ref had a good game. No yellow cards, no red cards. That's what you want to see, really. This is they had more possession than us, more shots. But I think that's the way we like it. We like teams.
Does that surprise you that the team at the bottom of the league, or near the bottom of the league, has 58% possession and 11 shots to our 3? Is that a surprise?
I don't think that means anything. For the style we play, or the system that he plays, 3-5-2, and then he was talking about it during the week, wasn't he? And then he goes into a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. It's got all these different systems depending on whether we're attacking or defending.
Yeah. Okay.
I think a lot of when Munoz is missing, you could tell that we didn't have, he's quite an outlet for us at any time, and him not being there I think will reflect in, or being held back. It definitely reflects in possession. So.
Okay, right. Let's move on then. Before we do, we've got a stat from Sky that they put up before the game yesterday, and they were talking apparently about the fewest changes to a starting 11. Paul, we're winning this by some margin, aren't we?
Yeah, well, everyone mentions our small squad and the fact that we're not rotating players enough. And as we've said before on here, it's a bit chicken and egg. I mean, yes, we need to rotate the players, but also if the team is winning, you don't. So for the first 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games where we were unbeaten and flying, he wouldn't have changed it much. So it's not really a surprise, to be honest, that we have made so few changes. As I say, it's both in our scenarios, as we've seen the other day when key players go, we've not got the depth to do it. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that we've made the least changes, and but we were forced to make, obviously, some changes for the Fulham game. So, as I say, we had a couple of players making their first league appearance of the season, with Sir Klein obviously came in for Munoz. We were in the ground and the team came out, and obviously Munoz wasn't on there, so no one really knew why that was at the time. Obviously, Oliver's came out after the game and said there was he's been managing an injury, so we take him at his word, and hopefully he'll be back soon.
But the speculation before kickoff was all around this arrest, wasn't it? It's unfounded. It's very much unfounded. Some people tweeting to say it was Daniel Munoz that was arrested, but we've got it on good authority from all our sources here at the Red and Blue Review that it wasn't him and that he's injured. So let's hope that's true. And we don't know for sure, of course, but unfounded speculation is what I think is the best way of describing it. Fergus.
I just wanted to go back to Gel's point earlier. I think the limited number of changes, and I know we're not training at the moment because we've got so many games, and it might be that Glasner, he can only trust certain people in that system. And if you're not training, maybe the players on the bench, they're not getting an opportunity to put it into practice on the field in live games. So he's reluctant to change the team. And that might be why he's not changing as many starting 11 as he'd like to.
Well, it's interesting because Kleiny in his post-match interview said he had been training hard. So, obviously, when they train hard.
Yeah, but he was training.
I think he was 7 or 8
proper players different players. That's what he said he was training.
Yeah.
Glasner said
Yeah.
that yesterday, didn't he? He was training with other
Yeah.
players, not the first team players. Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Paul.
Yeah, so after the Burnley game, he said he gave them 2 days off. So yeah, they're obviously hopefully pretty prepared. You had the extra day because usually we're playing Thursday, Sunday, but Wednesday, Sunday. So so as we said, Klein played. Just out of interest, Bruno Fernandes has just put Man United 1-0 up at Wolves. And then Eddie Nketiah came in for his first start. Came in the number 10 position, which allowed Kamada to go back to his midfield pivot position and Lerma back to the bench. So yeah, that was the side ready to go. Obviously, the whole right side was different, so it's going to be interesting to see how we cope with that. But yeah, so we take to the field. Palace, good record at Craven Cottage. We obviously won there twice earlier in the year, in February and March. And we haven't actually lost there since New Year's Day 2004. So we've got a good record there. So that was something to hopefully hold on to and try and maintain. So yeah, match starts. Fulham probably started a bit. It's definitely started a bit brighter and straight on the attack and got a string of corners. And the first one was swung in, and it was a very strange one, actually, because Iwobi placed the ball and just as he was running up to kick it, it suddenly rolled about 3 yards. So he did well to continue kicking it, but Mateta headed it over his own bar, which meant the corner on the other side, which again. They took a short corner this time, went to the near post rather, and Smith Rose hit a rocket of a volley, which was destined for the top corner, I think. But luckily, it hit Mark Gay on the way through and gone off again. So, yeah, so Fulham have come out, and obviously we saw they scored 4 goals against Man City the other day. So they were obviously, even though they lost the game, probably a bit confident in attack and obviously wanted to go straight for us. So, yeah, to weather that little early storm was probably quite useful, to be honest. And we gradually worked our way back into the game, and we got our first real dangerous attack in the 20th minute when we scored. So, like Palace do, we're playing out from the back. Lacroix played it into the middle to Pino, who's dropped it back to Walton, who's hit an absolutely exquisite outside of the left foot ball out wide to Tyrick, who eventually laid it back to Mark. And again, Adam's not stood still. He's run up forward, and Mark's laid it off to him. Again, he's played another lovely first-time ball into the box. We think he was probably going for Kamada, but Eddie's obviously pounced and grabbed the ball first and smashed it into the corner with a great finish. But yeah, I mean, it was a really fantastic goal, and I know Joe wants to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, do you want to come in here and talk about this goal?
I do, yeah, purely because this is typical of the way that Glasner wants us to play, and it's the fewer touches, the better, and we have a couple of, especially in Wharton. I mean, so the ball comes to Pino, 1 touch to Wharton. He then takes 2 touches with a 40-yard outside of his left boot out to Mitchell. Mitchell takes 4 touches and he passes it to Gay. Gay takes 2 touches, passes it to Wharton. Wharton hits a rocket and it's supposed to be going to Kamada, which is why the defender follows the ball, the track of the ball where he thinks it's going, and he would have been on it before Kamada. But you see that as Nketiah comes across, it's impeccable, his touch for once. And then it takes him away into literally, he's completely clear. Yeah. Now, I've worked it out that in less than 15 seconds, that ball was touched 6 times by 5 players in literally under 15 seconds, and it went nearly 100 meters or 100 yards. I mean, that for us is like fantastic, and I don't care who you are, nobody lives with that. That opens up anybody. That opens up Arsenal. It opens up any decent defence. So I mean, it was just the fact that everybody's touch was good, and I mean, Wharton just seems to be getting better and better and better.
I'm glad you've said that, because I've got written down here on my notes, how good is Adam Wharton? Question.
Well, I think he's the best passer in the Premier League. I've said it for a long time now, and now he's getting a more of a run. I think he's avoiding injury. I think you're seeing him now, left foot, right foot. He really is. He's genius.
I mean, the match of the day guys were eulogising about him. Is he an England starter in the summer in the World Cup? Ferg, what do you think? Does he start for England? Is he that good?
I think he is good enough, but unfortunately, he's coming to the England squad quite late. and Tuchel seems to like Anderson at Forest. I don't know why. He's also got some other players to come back, hasn't he? Bellingham and yes, he is good enough, but I don't think he won't start the first couple of games. I don't think he'll probably grow into the tournament.
I think the season will be telling, because if he carries on doing this and carries on playing as well as he did yesterday, you can't leave him out. You cannot. Certainly get in the squad. You cannot not select him.
We got the best
squad,
midfield
100%.
That I think England's ever had, and that includes, well, no, saying that, apart from Beckham, Scholes, and Lampard. But I mean, he could possibly keep Eze out. Because I mean, that would be unbelievable. Do you think he would do that, Paul?
No, I think they play in different positions, so I think they're fighting for different parts of the pitch. If he's going to play, he's going to play in the sixth pivot, probably allowing Rice to move forward a bit. But yeah, as you say, Anderson is the flavour of the month at the moment. If Palace have a better season than Forest, which I'm sure we will, and we all hope we will, he may well push his way in above that. If he keeps playing like that, it will be very hard to ignore, and the clamour will be there for him to play as well.
Yeah, good. Right, we ought to get back to this game, really. We're 1-0 in front at Fulham. This ground that we can't lose at. We've got a great record.
Yeah, so 1 up. But Fulham don't sit back. They come straight back at us. And pretty quickly, Berger's played a slide rule ball through into the box that Smith Rowe's run onto. And we were right behind us. He's hit an absolute rocket. But again, Dino's got his hand to it and tipped it over. Amazing. Brilliant save. And yeah, as I say, we at that point start to think, well, yeah, another clean sheet's incoming here and all. But yeah, so it's getting a bit end to end now. We're getting some chances, they're getting some chances. And our next attack in the 30th minute, the ball eventually breaks way down to Klein on the right, and he bursts into the box, sort of puts the ball through Anderson's leg, and then Anderson plants his foot and basically takes him out. Now, at the time, we're too far away to see anything, but Jamie Carragher on Sky apparently, and the guys on Ref Watch today, and when you look back, he's basically fouled him, and he's pretty much on the line, so it should be a penalty. Now, VAR apparently did look at it and claimed that Anderson had planted his leg and Klein had gone over it, but to me, when you look at it back, it was a clear foul, and if it's on the line, it was a clear penalty. But as we all know, the VAR was Darren England, so I mean, if he says it wasn't, then it must have been.
Can I just say, whether it was a penalty or not, that was a foul all day long.
Yeah.
If he didn't think it was in the box, he should have gave the free kick, and then they could have gone to VAR and looked at it. But he didn't even give the free kick.
No, I think that was part of the problem. I think because he gave nothing. I mean, he had a terrible game. He gave Fulham every 50-50 for me. Sam Borrett, I thought it was a shocker. But Gel, what did you think? Penalty or no penalty?
100% penalty. It's for me, it's a stone. Any other team, I was going to say any other top 6 team, but top 7 now because we've sort of walked in there amongst the pigeons. But yeah, anyone else gets that. Liverpool get that. Everyone, City get that. Everyone gets that. For Darren England to do that, the more I see that Darren England, the more that he has involved in our club, I don't care what anyone says. I think he has an agenda against us.
So do I. Yeah, so do I.
I really do. I mean, and I ain't going to say allegedly either. Sue me. But, I mean, that literally was one of the worst decisions, one of the worst things. I mean, you remember when he refed us and the VAR called him over and went, look, Dow, you better have a look at that. We think you might have messed up. And he's gone over there and went, nah.
Villa away, wasn't it? Villa away, Richard's challenge.
I think there's been 4 VAR decisions overturned. 2 of them are 3 of them now. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Okay.
So penalty for you, Gel. Paul, you're saying a penalty as well. Is it a full house, Fergus?
Yeah, 100% penalty. 100%. They said his foot was outside the box. Well, his left foot was, but his right foot wasn't, and that was the one he took away. So
yeah,
but Klein was on the line, so it doesn't really matter where Anderson's foot was. And he said, he used a ridiculous thing about his foot was planted. So what do you do? Someone's running through, you just stand in front of them, stick your leg out, hold it there, and they're on a direct line to go towards the ball. They fall over it and go, no free kick because your foot was planted. Oh, idiot! They're idiots.
And didn't he say not enough contact as well? like limited
Well,
contact.
I think whoever said earlier made a valid point that had the referee given a free kick, albeit outside the penalty area, then VAR would have had to take a proper look at it. And then they would have said, look, matey, I think you better look at this because it's either on the line or just inside. It's a penalty. And then we could have given it that way. But it wasn't to be. It wasn't given. And it's 1-0.
So not 1-0 for much longer. So Fulham, in 38th minute, they're playing the ball around the midfield. And they're working it down the right-hand side. And, they get towards the area and then they speed it up. And, I mean, to be fair, it's played into Harry Wilson. He's played a one-touch ball to Raul Jimenez, who's played a one-touch ball back to him. And then he's hit a bit like Walton's pass, an exquisite finish with the outside of his boot curling away from Dean. I mean, sometimes you just got to take your hat off to teams and say too good. There's not much we could have done to stop that goal. It was, as we said with our goal, quick into play will break teams down no matter. And it was a great goal and 1-1 and probably fair, to be honest. Fulham didn't deserve to be behind, so we get to half time at that point, and 1-1 probably was a fair score at that half time. So obviously, as we know, we've the last few games we sort of faded a bit in the second half and given things away, but. So we came out second half, no changes or anything at this point. First half, first chance of the second half went to Fulham. They broke into the box and the guys tried to smash it into the top corner, but he sort of hit it high and wide, so that wasn't too much of a problem. And then we get our first chance. Again, we progress forward. Kamada plays it to Pino, and Pino is very good at these little slide balls. He's split the defence, and Mateta's obviously threw into the box, left foot, and again he's dragged it wide, and as we've said earlier, you got to hit the target with those. Even if you don't score, if you hit the target, the keeper could push it away and someone get a rebound or push it away for a set piece corner or something. Just dragging these shots wide, and you can see the despair on his face. To be honest, like I say, he obviously knows it's not going well for him at the minute, and we've got to, in some ways, you've got to keep getting chances, and hopefully they'll go. But again. It's the time you need to score to try and do that. So
this was the one that you were exasperated about, wasn't it? And you're right to be exasperated because he's got to hit the target from there. He's got to force a save from the goalkeeper. And I don't get it. I don't get how he can be so good 1 minute, like the two chances we talked about in the Burnley game, and then he gets through on goal and he just miskicks it basically. It's bizarre.
Yeah. No, as I say, hopefully it will turn for him the more chances he gets. But as we might come to after, we got a couple of easier European games coming up in theory, and hope maybe he'll get a rest there. But we'll come to that. But so shortly after that, it could have proved really costly because Fulham had the ball in the net. The ball's played out wide to Chukwueze on the left-hand side. Then he's crossed it in, and Alex Iwobi's very good header has come back off the post, unfortunately for him, straight to Smith Rowe, who smacks in the rebound. Obviously, Fulham fans all celebrating, going mad. Our players were complaining, I think, about a possible handball and Raul Jimenez fall over, but that didn't seem to get us all got waved away. But fortunately for us, they were checking the offside, and as we can see from the picture for those watching, he's offside by a toe. So you get the old debate: is this how football should be, and all that? But ultimately, you're offside. The rule at the moment is it's any part of your body you can score with is offside. You're offside. So. Yeah, it was offside, so we all breathed a sigh of relief.
Didn't we just? I tell you what, if that's against us, you're livid, aren't you? If that is given against you, you're not happy, are you, at all? Because it's you're right. That technically is offside. You can't argue with the line being drawn and the fact it's red and not green. But it shouldn't be the case. It should. That is not how football should be played, in my view. Joe.
But the other thing as well, it was handball. It was handball before that, and they said, and I've seen it so many times where goals have been disallowed. They said, "Don't matter if it's handball. It's handball. If you're part of the team that's attacking, the ball goes to hand or handball or whatever, then the goal doesn't stand. It's been ruled out loads of times."
So Paul, what's the rule on this? Because you're going to tell us.
If he's not given a handball because it's accidental. Accidental handball is not handball, and we saw a very similar incident in the Brighton game, which has caused a bit of kerfuffle with their goal. I mean, it turns out ultimately that it could have all been avoided because their goal should have been ruled out for a dangerous high overhead kick, kicking someone in the head. But that's another story. But ultimately, the only accidental handball that is penalised is if it's by a goal scorer. if it's not by the goal scorer or leading directly to a goal, if it's accidental handball, it's accidental handball.
You see, it's
you're not
bonkers, isn't it? Bonkers rule. It's mad.
Yeah, I mean, the rule is crazy if you look at it, but it is the rule. I mean, as they said yesterday, if the goalie had just let that shot in at Brighton's, it would be ruled out. But no, I mean, this is the problem, and it's the age-old debate: handball, whether it should be deliberate, accidental, subjective, whatever. But yeah,
as they go along.
But listen, we got away with one yesterday, didn't we? We got away with one. Would you agree? We got away with one with that decision.
Well, yeah. Well, yes and no. Yeah, I mean, it's offside. I mean, morals, it shouldn't be or whatever. It is offside. I mean, there's always going to be a point of a line. If they make it daylight, then you're going to be someone will be offside because the last stud on his heel. So you can't win. I mean, yes, you're upset when it's on, but ultimately it's the same for every team. You can't complain.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
As we said, it was lucky escape. Yeah. That seemed to pep us up a little bit in some ways. Mitchell again, who had a brilliant game. He had a really, really good game, like he's doing most weeks, to be honest. As we say on the show, but he went down the left hand side. He was brilliant attacking and defending yesterday, and he's put in a good cross, which falls to Pino, who stabs the ball at the goalkeeper, and the defender deflects it. And so, just as the goalie's about to get it, Eddie tries to pounce, but keeper does manage to smother it. So we're keeping them back as well. So that's they're not can't just come and attack us. But at this point, Eddie had run his race. Like I say, it was his first start. He played for 60 odd minutes, and again, we don't want to risk injury, so we took him off, made some subs. So Lerma came on to go in the pivot to allow Kamada to go in his place as the 10, and obviously Mateta's gone off for Uche. Now Uche's not had many minutes. And so it's good to use him. Ultimately, we've got these players on the bench, and I think we're at a point where you got to give these players a chance at some point. And so and you could see instantly he was obviously running, chasing down a bit more, and putting some pressure on. So was probably a good sub at that point. But Fulham was still a threat. They weren't really creating big chances, but they had another shot flashed across the goal again. The Chukwueze guy, who was a bit of a pain down the left.
He got a couple of goals against City, didn't he?
He did, yeah. So he was on fire, and he was shooting for everywhere, but he got one over there. Yeah. But again, we're still having a lot of joy down the left, and Mitchell again swung in across, and Uche, we thought on the 6-yard line was going to get there, but defender managed to clear it away from him for what we thought should have been a corner, but the idiots officials that we've already mentioned decided it was a goal kick, which only they could probably have come up with. But at this point, again, the other player we had who was playing his first game of the season, Nathaniel Klein, he obviously has 75 minutes. And you got to take your hat off to him. And as I say, I know Oliver singled him out after the game. He's not started a game all season. He's not really even had many minutes. So to come in and play that role
70 minutes he played
solidly as he did, you got to take your hat off to him, and it shows what a professional he is, even at that age, and how ready he is to come in, because it was probably at short notice. I think he was only told on Saturday when Munoz was decided he couldn't play, it was that he'd be playing. So yeah, you have to say well done for him. But Camvo came on for him, and Camvo's not a wing back by any stretch of the imagination, so it's going to be interesting to see how that went. And he had a couple of attacks down the right, but you could see attack wasn't in his first mind. But yeah, the game is getting towards the end of the game now, and probably we're doing more pressing than they are, which is good to see considering the status of the tiredness of the team and stuff. And again, Tyrick down the left, he's swung another great ball in. It's just a little bit too far ahead of Uche, but he's stretched and had the shot, and the keeper's managed to save it and parry it wide for a corner. So there's 4 or 5 minutes left to go, and we're pushing, which is good. Adam Warren takes the corner and he plays a low one, and Mark Gay dummies it. Falls to Pino again, back post, another shot deflected wide. A very good creative set piece.
One off the training field, that wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Great corner.
It was great. But that obviously led to another corner. So Pino goes over to the right corner, and beautiful delivery into the box, and Mark Gay rises above everyone, heads it into the net, and the away end just went absolutely nuts. I mean, the pandemonium. I mean, it's 3 minutes. It's always great to get a late goal, a late winner, because pretty much it's winner. And so we all went just completely mad. And it turns out that was Palace's latest winning goal since Michael Elise got his elusive shot scored goal at West Ham in 2002.
Yeah.
So we haven't scored too many late winners recently, but yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, as I say, place went mad, and we probably deserved it to be at that point. And
we did. We still had 6 minutes to hang on of stoppage time, which seemed like 16 minutes to me. I don't know. It's hard, isn't it, when you're hanging on there? For when you
especially with the goals we have given away recently. But yeah, as you say, stoppage time went up 6 minutes, but they didn't really cause us any problems. We defended well, and the final whistle was very welcome. And the players came over and celebrated with us as they do. And as I say, you can't underestimate this. I mean, it's a very tight league as well this year, and it's 6 points away from home in 2 games like that is a really good achievement for after all the games, the way the team have been playing, and with all the matches they've had to play. So, and you just have to look. I mean, if we'd have got 2 draws, we'd be on 22 points and probably be about 14th. It's that close. But
we wouldn't have been complaining too much. We really couldn't. Let's say the one at Burnley where Henderson puts it onto the bar goes in. Right. Let's say he doesn't save that 1-1. Let's say their goal yesterday isn't offside by a toenail and it's 2-2. We're not complaining too much, are we, if we draw those games? So as I said at the top of the show, these are fine margins. By the way, talking to late winners, Tony Quinn, I think, said, what about the Liverpool winner? Nketiah's winner against Liverpool. That was later.
Right, I'm sure, yeah. Must have been away from home.
Good spot, Tony. Good spot, yeah. Okay, so we hang on, Paul Gear, yeah?
Yeah, final whistle go. Like I say, it was a great result, and I think I probably would have taken a draw after the travelling of the week and all that. But yeah, as you say, 6 points, and as you said earlier, best away record in the division. And yeah, our record is brilliant this season. And like you say, the fact that we have got any complaints is incredible. But as we said earlier, if Mateta had scored that last-minute goal against Bournemouth, and then we'd have held on against the 2 games that we lost after European, we could be right up there. But it's much better that way. So Wolves have just equalised as well. But so great win.
So I think our XG was twice. It was double what Fulham's was for the game as well. Considering it's
what was that, Fergus? Say that again.
Our XG, I think, was double what Fulham had.
What was it? Well, I've got the stats here, some match stats. I think Lucy's going to put some up as well, if we can. So 63% possession for Fulham, compared to just 36 for 37 for Palace. And our XG was 1.65. Yeah, you're spot on to their 0.79, Fergus. Yeah, but and shots were equal, 12-11 and 4-5. So I'm not quite sure how they worked the XG out actually from that. Given we had less possession and we had similar number of shots on target, but there we are. So thank you, Lucy, for that, and thank you, Paul, for covering the match, and for doing the Burnley game. So 6 points on the road and sets us up nicely, really, to visit Shelbourne in the Conference League, and we'll come to the games we've got coming up very shortly. But of course, on this podcast, we do talk about other teams at the football club, not just the men's first team. Yesterday, the women they beat Birmingham City 3-0 in the Women's Championship, and they're not doing that great in their league. They're sort of mid-table. The next Sunday afternoon, after our kickoff, they're playing Lewis away in the FA Cup. So it's a real shame that, Fer, because I would have gone down there maybe if it had been a day when Alex weren't playing.
We're home to City, aren't we?
Yeah, we're home to City, of course. But so they're playing Lewis in the FA Cup on Sunday. The under-21s don't play in December. I noticed. That's bizarre. Not sure why. Somebody in the chat tell me if they know the answer. The under-18s, since we were last on air, they beat Bradford City in the FA Youth Cup third round 3-0. And of course, they're top of their division, the under-18s. And only a week before that, they beat Southampton 4-2, who are third in the division. So well done to our youngsters, doing really, really well. That FA Cup, the FA Youth Cup game was played at Selhurst Park. And that reminds me, back in 77, that Vince Hilaire youth team, remember that, played at Selhurst Park when they won the FA Youth Cup? About the only thing we'd ever won in those days, wasn't it? But there we are. Okay, so let's have a little think about the future of this club going ahead. We've had lots of speculation from Oliver Glasner. Of course, the outburst after the Manchester United game when we lost, wasn't given enough players in the summer to strengthen the squad and so on and so forth. We all know that the most important signing at our club is Oliver Glasner renewing his contract. I mean, how concerned should we be as Palace fans that he hasn't yet put pen to paper? Paul Gear, first of all.
I should be very concerned. It's, I mean, ultimately, he's got 6 months of his contract left. And it's, and as I say, as we said the other day, it's going to make it a bit more difficult to sign players potentially. And it's going to make it a bit more difficult for the club to give him loads and loads of money. Yeah, I've never understood why these talks take as long as they do. I mean, ultimately, he's obviously got a contract he's happy with at the moment. So you tweak that a little bit here and there, and then it's a case of promising funds and stuff like that. And if you don't go through with it, he's not going to do it. But yeah, we obviously need to. Well, the club needs clarification at the end of the day, ASAP anyway. So yeah, you'd like to think he'd do the decent thing and give us an answer one way or the other, a bit like Mark Gahey did. He puts the onus on the club; they know where they stand and everything. But yeah, we need to get him signed or try and start moving on almost.
Yeah, certainly. And talking to the window then in January, what positions do you think we need to cover as a priority, Ferg? I'm not talking about players, specific players, but what positions for you would be the most important that you cover in the January window?
Well, centre back, because I have a funny feeling that if Liverpool come in again and offer 35 million for Mark Gahey, we'll take it. So we definitely need a centre back, and probably another striker, and someone to replace Sarr. If we could find a player that had a similar attributes to what Sarr does, that would be good.
Yeah, but obviously he's going to be missing for AFCON. If that's if he goes, if he recovers from his injury. But I don't think he's going anywhere, is he? Ismaila Sarr, and
no. But the fact that he's away for nearly a month, no, I do think it's worth getting somebody because we've got a crucial month coming up with lots and lots of games, and Sarr's going to miss all of them. And we don't have a replacement. Not a replacement. As in what Sarr can do.
Yeah, maybe, but you've got players that can play in that 10 role. Kabada can play there, or so there are players that can play there. I thought you might have said right wing back. We talked about cover for Munoz. We've seen yesterday Nathaniel Klein do his very best, and he did all right for 70 minutes, but he's not the answer. We know that. Would you prioritise a right wing back, Joe? Do you think?
Yeah, but I mean, who'd you go for? I think we'd have to go for someone. We can't nick anyone out of the championship. I mean, it takes a year for a championship player to get up to speed, get slaughtered. So we better the devil we'll keep Klein. I never ever thought I'd say that. But yeah, definitely centre back. If Chaddy isn't, if Chaddy comes back, we still need another one anyway because we know Gay's going no matter what. And definitely another forward. Said for ages, we need to look at Eastern Europe. They're quick. I mean, a chance to play in the Premier League. There's some sharp. Some of them kids that are playing at Strasbourg. All their players, their average team, average age, I think they're all under 23. So, but going to your original question about Glasner, so it's a double-edged sword, really. I mean, I think January he makes his mind up in January, not now. Not after. He makes his mind up in January. If the club back him with 2 loans and 4 signings, because that's what we're going to need, then I think he stays. And if not, then I think he goes. And I wouldn't blame him either. I mean, he is destined to, to pick off more trophies. I mean, he's done the Europa Cup, he's done the FA Cup, he's done the Charity Shield. Don't care what people say. Liverpool list 12 Charity Shields as part of their, on their honours board. So, he's a manager that plays a system that suits us. That and you look at United and they're playing the same system and they're absolutely useless at it. So, but I think Glasner is, no matter what way you look at it, I know we all harp on about Stevie Coppell being, possibly our best manager. Just for pure time spent at the club, but we have got someone special there. But it's not just him. He says all the time that he has an amazing backroom team. Now,
absolutely,
it's a package. They come as a package. We lose one, we lose them all. So, And like I say, finally we moved away from anybody linked with Crystal Palace, that manager, that wasn't an ex-player or whatever. And we get immediate, well, I'm going to say immediate, but 16, 17 months of success.
I mean, look, when Glasner joined the club nearly 2 years ago, most of us had never heard of him, to be honest with you. I mean, one or two might have done, if they follow European football, with Eintracht Frankfurt winning the Europa League. But most of us hadn't really heard of him. But I would go as far to say that he is now our greatest manager. And I love Steve Coppell. I think he's a fantastic guy. He did great for us. But you can't compare previous managers with what Glasner's done, because he's won the FA Cup. We got close. I was going to say we haven't got close. We have got close, but we've never won it before. And the Charity Shield. So, you've got to say that Glasner is our best ever manager. And I think there is a bit of chicken and egg here about his future, because, Paul, I think you've said before now that players aren't necessarily going to want to come to our club in January, good players, if they don't know that Oliver Glasner's future is certain. If he's only going to be here for 6 months, well, why would I bother? So I think it's a bit of chicken and egg. What's that going on in the background? Fergus, come and save me. Saved by the bell.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I think I am concerned, and I agree. I think it's going to come down to January. But I think if we've qualified for Europe, the knockout stages, we're in the top 8 in the Premier League, and the club don't back him, he will go. He'll have made his decision. And I know, in parallel to that, building works can start in January, isn't it, on the new stand? Hopefully that's not. Hopefully that is a separate set of funds, and it's not going to impact our transfer funds. But I can see that being the excuse of not having to invest in new players, because we have to build a new stand.
That won't cut any ice with Oliver Glasner, that's for sure.
No,
that won't cut any
ice.
Well,
exactly. So if we don't back him in January, I think he'll go. If we do, and we sign some top players, again, going back to your previous point, we'll be signing them because Glasner will have committed his future to the club.
Okay. Well, let's hope so. Shell, final word on this to you, mate, and then we're going to move on to
big point as well. Yeah, sorry. So I think as well that the amount of money that Mateta wants, I think Mateta moves on. And also, if we're led to believe that Barcelona, Real Madrid, who are you going to choose? Are you going to choose Liverpool, a club in absolute chaos at the moment, or are you going to go and have a couple of years in the sun, 300 grand a week, right? But I think the player that we're hugely overlooking, who is just now getting the plaudits that he deserves, that Maxence Lacroix reminds me of who's the Liverpool centre back?
Virgil.
But he just reminds me of Virgil van Dijk. I'm sorry, I know you shouldn't, but he's so calm. He wins everything. He's not afraid to go forward with the ball. He passes the ball, everything. So I think we could
got another goal at
manager and 4 or 5 players down.
No, it's half time. I was just going to say, obviously, Max today got nominated as one of the 6 players of the month in the Premier League. So, yeah, he's probably going to start turning heads soon as well.
Can I just say, right back for Munoz, how about bringing Danny Imre back? He's a very similar player, young player. Give him a go. See how he gets on.
About that. I think we've been linked with the Bayern Munich right back, haven't we?
We are, yeah.
And Glasner's apparently in conversation with their sporting director. So, Okay, right. So, Lucy, something's tickled, Jen. I don't know what it was funny. I missed that in Jake. Lucy, have we got the fixtures, please, that we've got coming up? There we go. So, on Thursday, we're all going to Dublin. I can't wait for this. I'm really excited. We play Shelbourne away. 8 o'clock UK time. It's live on TNT Sport if you're not fortunate enough to be going to Dublin. Followed by Manchester City. First time we played them since the Cup final, of course. They visit us on Sunday at 2 p.m. live on Sky Sports. And then we've got the Cups game. This is the final group game of the Conference League. Finnish side. Now, we were talking pre-show, Paul, weren't we, about rotation. We believe that Glasner will rotate heavily in that Cups game.
Yeah, well, he mentioned earlier about the importance of winning on Thursday because he thinks if we win on Thursday, we're guaranteed to be at least in the playoff zone, and then he can afford to rest players because obviously, if you see from this thing, we're playing Cooks on the Thursday, we're then playing Leeds on the Saturday, which is sadly so. And he said he can't see he won't play all the players. He won't have anyone playing 90 minutes for 2 games. So I think his plan is hoping obviously win Shelbourne and. There may still be an outside chance of getting a top 8, but I think it'll be very outside at that point. And he'd probably say, well, let's just accept where we are in the playoff road and let's rest players for Leeds, I imagine. Because then again, after Leeds, 3 days later, we're playing another cup game. So it's madness.
And it is madness. And, I've said on this pod a few weeks ago now, I can't believe that they didn't cancel this Leeds fixture and Arsenal at Everton and play this Carabao Cup tie on the weekend, but they haven't done. And you've given good reason why that is, because Premier League is never going to concede to the Carabao Cup, the EFL Cup at all. And Leeds are no mugs, of course. So we go to Leeds on the Saturday night, 8 p.m. kickoff again, live on Sky. They're no mugs. They've just put 3 past Liverpool, 3 past Chelsea at Ellen Road. So this is going to be a tough game. And it won't be as easy as last time we went there and won 5-1 2 seasons ago. And then we've got this quarter-final tie. And I think Glasner's quite optimistic about this because he, when he was talking about January, he said then hopefully we get a semi-final, so he definitely wants to win this one. He sees this as a chance for more silverware, just 3 games away from Wembley, because we've got a quarter-final and a 2-leg semi-final if we get through. That's also not just on Sky, but it's on terrestrial TV as well, on 2 days before Christmas. And then after Christmas, the sort of Boxing Day game, if you like, is on Sunday, the 28th of December. I think it's the last game of the game week fixture list at home to Spurs. Also live on TV. So if you're an armchair Palace fan, you can sit and watch them all. They're right live in your living room, every single fixture. I never thought that would ever happen in my time supporting Crystal Palace. Did you? It's mad, isn't it? Gel and then Fergus.
So 2 points that you're saying about Leeds away. The last time we played Leeds away, smashed them 5-1, and we weren't expected to get anything out of that because they were flying in. So I'm not really worried about that. But unless I've missed something or someone's made a joke and I've only read that, where are you picking your Shelbourne tickets up from?
In a pub.
I mean, now, so it is. How Palace is that? Have you ever heard of anything like that? A pub? Was some spiff going to turn up with a rucksack? And it'll be a woman from the club as well, because they wouldn't make anyone else go over there. And they'll say, what are you going to do? Line up out there. People will be pushing in, getting pissed. And you know what I mean? It's like, what a nightmare. What a nightmare. A pub.
Well, Paul, what do you think?
It did seem a strange one. I mean, I don't think it's unusual for clubs to allow people or make people go and collect their tickets with ID for these European games, but normally it's outside the ground or there's usually like a fan zone or something. But yeah, to a pub in the middle of Temple Bar. I mean, the only thing I can see is obviously they've laid on some coaches for us so that we can get out to the stadium from Dublin city centre. I think they're going to go quite there, so they're probably quite keen to have people in that sort of area. But yeah, it does seem a bit of a strange one. Perhaps they've done a deal with the pub and are getting a cut of the profits. Who knows? But
I know loads of people that are going out there without tickets.
Yeah, same as Strasbourg. There were loads of Palace in Strasbourg without tickets. Fergus.
I was going to say. I haven't got this problem, no. But I was just going to say that N7 has lots and lots of traffic on it. There's always accidents. So if they're running coaches from Dublin, they better be leaving early, just in case. Because,
wear your seatbelt, is that right? Wear your seatbelt on the coach.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say, Shelbourne, their football season's finished. Their last game was 27th of November against AZ Alkmaar. So they haven't played for a while. So I don't know if that is going to go in our favour, or they've had a couple of weeks rest and they'll all be fresh. But
I never knew that. I'm not sure.
Just interesting.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I really don't.
Yeah, I know he wants to win the game, and obviously, as you say, I think he's banking on this being our final sort of big game, which will just guarantee our sort of progression in it. But he's got to make some changes in this game. So I mean, Shelbourne surely are beatable with 3 or 4 of our players rested. You'd like to think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would like to think. Yeah.
And of course, Star might be back as well, so he might.
So
be on the
let's
bench.
have a quick. Before we finish, let's have a quick score prediction for Shelbourne away in the chat. Tell us what that score is going to be for that particular game, and we do the Man City game as well. Okay, we do both games. So Shelbourne and Man City. I want 2 results from you, Fergus. Tim, you're up first.
3-0 Shelbourne, 1-1 City.
Okay, we'll win 3-0. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Gel.
I was going to go 4 and 1-1 City. So
That's fine. You can do that. You can do that. Paul?
I'm going to full house. So I think we'll beat Shelbourne 2-0, and I think it'll be 1-1 City, because I know obviously we have the record of playing after European games, but City have got a very tough game on Wednesday away in Real Madrid, so they're not going to be cooking on full gas either. So
I'm not arguing with any of that. I think we win 2-0, might be 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, and we draw against City at home. And I'll take that. I'll take that. I think that'll be a good outcome of the week. And then we go again on the Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday is bonkers, isn't it? So there we go, everybody. Yeah, thanks for all your predictions coming through. We'll have a read of them afterwards. Yeah, it's really good to have you with us. Sorry we haven't really got into the chat too much tonight. But in the interest of time with 2 games, sometimes it isn't that easy. Paul, you want to add something right at the
yeah, just a quick one. I know we're saying about the team being tired and all that, but I think they should spare a thought for us fans. They're having to go to games all these times, and it's just I'll tell you, it's madness. We shouldn't have to put up with this. Players have got an easy life.
Well, I said the other week when I got back from Strasbourg, when I went to the Man United game, it felt like I just got back from the one before. Really it did. But there we are. Okay, so Fergus, Paul, Gel, thank you so much. Thank you to producer Lucy in the background for doing such a great job for us tonight. We'll be back next Monday after the Manchester City game. And I hope Nick Philpott is back in the chair for that one. Anyway, good night all. And if you go to Dublin, see you there. Take care, everyone. Good night.
Happy birthday, Tom.
Everyone.
Happy birthday, Tom.
Tom.
Happy birthday, Tom.